Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter has met with the Chicago Bears again, this time at Halas Hall. Could he still be an option for the Chicago Bears at pick number 9? Watch this video to hear my thoughts. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears draft discussion video, which I'll be doing throughout the next couple weeks until the NFL draft begins. It's on April 27th, fast approaching, so subscribe to my channel if you guys want my thoughts and my reactions regarding NFL draft news. But today I'll be talking about the Bears meeting up with Jalen Carter again. Okay, so initially they met with him at the combine. They met with him pretty extensively, talked with him, and that was actually when the whole report came out that he was racing with a teammate earlier this year, in which the teammate and the woman in the car with him actually ended up dying. Now, Jalen Carter did not cause that crash or anything, but he was, part of the racing there, and he got questioned by police. Reportedly, according to the police, he lied to them, and he did not face any legal troubles too much from this. Okay, so he actually pleaded no contest to misdemeanor racing and reckless driving. Did not face any jail time. He only had probation, a $1,000 fine, 80 hours of community service, and a class that he has to take, a driving class. So nothing really too bad in his legal record, but obviously it's bringing up a lot of question marks about his character and if this is going to be a thing for him in the future, getting into trouble off the field. Now that's why Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears are talking to him so much, because now he is sliding down the draft boards for a lot of people in their mock drafts. Okay, earlier on, a couple months ago, it seemed like he was going to be the number 1 or number 2 overall pick, or maybe like top 3, top 5 at the worst in the NFL draft. Well, now after all this stuff came out, after him having a pretty bad pro day too, in which he could barely finish the drills, he showed up a little bit out of shape, overweight according to what he tested at earlier on, at Georgia. So not a good pro day showing either. All this off the field stuff happening too. So he's sliding down draft boards to even beyond the top 10 in some mock drafts I've seen. Now, personally, I do not think he's going to make it outside the top 10 because his pure talent is just, it's way too much to not at least take a swing on if you are a team like the Detroit Lions or the Philadelphia Eagles or the Seattle Seahawks or maybe even the Chicago Bears, which is why, again, Ryan Poles is talking to Jalen Carter and doing as much due diligence on him as he possibly can. Okay, he's coming into Halas Hall today to have a meeting with the Chicago Bears. They'll be able to talk to him personally, get an up-close look at him, probably do a workout there too to see if they want to pass up on this guy if he's available to pick at pick number 9. And that's a big thing, guys. If he's available to pick at pick number 9, if he slides down the draft board and he's on there for the Chicago Bears to select, they have to be 100% certain they're okay with passing up on him, which involves doing a lot of research into this guy. Because I guarantee you, if the Chicago Bears pass up on him and if he has a phenomenal career with the Philadelphia Eagles or some other team outside the top 10, there's going to be a lot of angry Bears fans questioning why the Chicago Bears pass up on a talent this damn good in a position of need for the Chicago Bears. And that's a big thing too, guys. I mean, the Bears badly need a 3 technique, okay? And Jalen Carter would be the perfect 3 technique from a just on the field perspective, okay? Because in college football, without a doubt, the best 3 technique available in the draft this year, one of the most explosive, disruptive pass rushers from the interior we've seen in the NFL draft in quite some time. A big part of why Georgia's defense was that good the last 2 years, I mean, he's been a monster in the middle for the Georgia Bulldogs. And again, from a pure talent perspective, it is really, really hard to pass up on this guy if he is available for the Chicago Bears at pick number 9, especially for a defensive-minded head coach and Matt Eberflus, who I'm sure would be absolutely loving to add a Jalen Carter to the middle of his defensive line. But again, it just depends on if the off-the-field concerns, if the character concerns, if the fatigue concerns of him, sometimes not giving his all on the football field. That's been a thing that scouts have talked about. If those concerns are just way too much, then you might not be okay with selecting Jalen Carter. But that's the entire process the Bears are going through right now. And I'm happy that the Bears are going through their process and not just like outright taking him off the draft board, because I'm sure some teams out there have already done that. There's been reports that the Raiders are not interested whatsoever in Jalen Carter because of his off-the-field concerns. And that's kind of understandable because the Raiders have had so many issues with players getting into trouble with the law. But for a team like the Bears that just has so many needs, that needs a high caliber, high impact player on day 1 in the draft, they have to make sure they're going through every single little detail about this guy's life to determine if he's going to be a concern for the Bears, off the field, or if he's good enough from a talent perspective to where, the concerns can be outweighed by his pure physical talent. It's going to be a very tough decision, I'm sure, for Ryan Poles to make. But I'm not totally sure he's going to be available for the Bears to even select the number 9, because I do kind of think that Detroit or Seattle especially are going to want a Jalen Carter, especially because they have an extra first round pick, right? Like, that's a luxury that they are afforded to have, that they're afforded to maybe go for, because even if they miss on Jalen Carter, the rest of their teams are pretty good, and they have another first round pick too. They have, ample draft capital. But for Chicago Bears that may, not have as good of a team, as much first round draft capital, it's going to be a riskier decision for them to make. But again, with where the Chicago Bears are right now, like I still find it really hard to pass up on a talent like that at pick number 9, because we would be okay with selecting him at pick number 1 or pick number 2 just a couple months ago. Like a lot of Bears fans were okay with doing that, staying at number 1, staying at number 2, wherever, and getting a Jalen Carter, because that's how good he actually was in college football. That's how good his talent, his tape was in college football. So to trade back all the way to 9, okay, to get DJ Moore, to get a future first round pick, to get multiple second round picks too, and still potentially get the guy that you would have been okay with selecting at pick number 1, that would be a boss move by GM Ryan Poles, and it could potentially turn into one of the biggest steals in NFL history in the NFL draft if Jalen Carter can actually stay out of trouble, and if he can reach his potential as a prospect in the NFL. But it's an interesting debate for the Chicago Bears to have, because on one hand, everything this new regime has stood for, it's kind of the opposite of what Jalen Carter, at least reportedly, has concerns with, right? Like character issues, potentially issues with not playing at his full 100% at all times. Like that goes the opposite of the hits principle. It goes the opposite of Ryan Poles, wanting to add high character guys in the locker room. But do you still take a swing on him and hope for personal growth from him? I mean, he's only 21 years old, so still really young, still basically a kid. I know that he's, obviously legally an adult now, but a lot of people in their lives have not made good decisions from ages, 18 to 22 while they have been in college. I'm not trying to condone what he did, in reckless driving and maybe potentially lying to the police. Obviously that's not good, but I'm just saying you might, be willing to give him a second chance and see, growth out of him, that's possible. I mean, a lot of people have grown, have matured as they've gotten older and have gotten more wiser. So it might be a big risk for the Chicago Bears to take, because they have so many young, impressionable minds in the locker room. The whole team is so damn young, like Ryan Poles has stated this entire offseason. So it is a big risk to insert a guy into this locker room, this culture they're trying to build, that, a guy that may not fit that culture really well. Okay, it's better to insert that guy maybe into like a veteran team where there's already an established culture built. But again, it comes down to if the Chicago Bears are just want to take a flyer on the pure talent and hope that, good things come out of it and that he can stay out of trouble and grow as a person overall. So it's all going to be up to Ryan Poles. I mean, from the outside looking in, I don't have as much information on Jalen Carter as these guys do, so I can't really speculate too much. I can't say if it's going to be a good decision or a bad decision for the Bears to pass up on him or pick him at pick number 9. I just do not know. But his pure talent, man, is very, very tantalizing. It's going to be very tough to pass up on him if he's on the board for the Chicago Bears to select at pick number 9. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm guessing, a lot of people would be okay with picking Jalen Carter at pick number 9 because his talent is just that damn good, okay? And the Bears need help on the D-line. Like, we're not going to get a talent like Jalen Carter anywhere else in the NFL draft, but do the off-the-field concerns outweigh that potential talent? Okay, we're going to have to wait and see. So let me know your thoughts down below, but as always, bear down.